Hey guys, it's your girl Londyn, and today we are back for another Resurrection Shadow Day. So, if you want to see what we're going to resurrect this Saturday, then just keep hanging around because we're going to get right into it. Okay, guys, thank you as usual for joining me on this beautiful Saturday morning. Here it is slightly cloudy, so I don't know what it's like where you're at, but any day we're here together, it is beautiful. So, we are going to resurrect a palette this morning, and it's one of my favorites actually. This palette came out in August of 2018, and it was released by one of our very own YouTubers here on the YouTube sphere, and that was Emily Noel. So if you know Emily, then you know Emily. And she came out with the Emily Noel, the Emily Edit, the Wants palette, and then the Needs palette. The Needs was a slightly smaller palette. Actually, it was significantly smaller. And then the Wants was very, very big. This was $20, and both palettes were released from Revolution. Now, Revolution's been known by Revolution, Makeup Revolution, Revolution X, several names, but Makeup Revolution nonetheless. So this was a very affordable palette, and you could get it on the Makeup Revolution website. You could get it at Ulta. At the time that I'm filming this video, you actually can still get it at Ulta, and they have it on sale. I believe it's $15 right now at Ulta. So this, I don't really recall if this was supposed to be limited edition, but I think it was because it was a collaboration, and it was, I believe, Emily's first collaboration. But here we are, what, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, actually, 3.5 years later, and it's still rocking. And I think the reason why is because Makeup Revolution can be very hit or miss with their palettes. And I think that this was one of their better palettes at the time, although some people did have some issues with it. But also Emily. I think Emily was just a very good spokesperson and representative to collaborate with for Makeup Revolution. I've been watching Emily since she purely did newscasting. I remember she had two separate channels. I remember her waking up very early in the morning to get ready for work. Her husband was a lawyer. Then they started to expand their family, having children. She went down to one channel. She finally hit 1 million, which was more than deserving for her. She actually should have way more. But I have been watching her for a very, very long time. Emily to me is a YouTuber who is very relatable in the sense that she just is. She is who she is. She isn't who she isn't. And if you like her, great, stick around. And if you don't, that's okay. You don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. And that very much shows how she runs her channel. She is very positive, but in a very authentic way. You can tell that is genuinely who she is as a person. But if she's having a bad day, she's going to let you know she's having a bad day. Things aren't going great. And so I think that makes her very relatable to everybody else, because sometimes we have really good days, sometimes we have really bad days, but nonetheless, we show up and we try to do the best that we can. I think that her relatability with makeup, in that she does a lot of drugstore. She's very heavy with the drugstore and the affordable, but she also does some more high end, some more luxury. She has a very good mix, so I think a lot of people can relate to that. That most people's collections have a mix of affordable and then of some items maybe that they saved up for, they got for gifts, or they just felt like splurging on. But they have a good mix kind of in their makeup collection. And so I think she also showcases that her background really has kind of stayed the same throughout the years. Sometimes it was pink, sometimes it was white, sometimes it was the door. Now, for the longest time, it's been kind of the Alex 9 drawers and kind of her mirror, her window. It kind of looks like what a quote unquote regular person's beauty room would look like. It's not staged with extreme lighting. It doesn't necessarily look like perfection, as in you had somebody come in and design it for you. It looks like a person's home and a bedroom in their home in which they turned it into their beauty space, their glam room, their girl room, their place to just zen out. And I think, again, a lot of people could relate to that. I know that I can. This is my office. This is my office that I work from, where I do my homework, and this also happens to be my beauty space. It is a small room in my home, and it used to be a guest room, and now it's not. So now I have no guest room in my home, but it is what it is. And so I think that makes Emily really relatable. I know that I relate to her. I love her. I enjoy her. And so I wanted to choose her palette this Saturday to go ahead and resurrect. So let's get into the palette. Again, this is the cover. I really love this peachy color. I love the gold. I thought this was very nice. Like I said, this was $20. This had a ton of shades in it. I mean, let's count. There is 4, 8, 12, 16, 24 shades in this palette. So this was very, very big. What I really enjoyed about it was you have a full mirror. Now, I don't use the mirrors in my palettes, but if you wanted to, you could use the mirror. This was a full mirror, and this was a good quality mirror, so you were going to be good to go. The palette was nice because the names of the shades, she really took a lot of time to figure out the types of names that she wanted to have for her shades. I'm just covering them real quick. And with that, she did things like prayer, grateful, good vibes, side hustle, um, Eve Rose, Belle Violet, that's her daughters, Capricorn, dues paid because she really had paid her dues to get to where she's at. I'm just moving my freaking mirror because it had a little topsy-turvy, because that's what happens. Oh my gosh, there we go. Oh Heavens, Love Tons, Cupcake, Cheer, Heartbeat, Corduroy, Dark and Early. She just really kind of incorporated her life into her palette. I think that that also gave us a little bit of her. And so I think that that made this palette really unique too. So let's go ahead and let's get into this. Like I said, this is one of my actually my favorite palettes. I love, love, love using this palette. I love the pinky tones in it. I love the greens in it. I love the purples. I think that this is a perfect palette. I love traveling with this palette because it just has everything that you need. And I actually thought the quality was very good in this palette. So I thought that the $20 was well worth being spent on this palette. So today I think we're going to go ahead and I will put like a picture of the palette somewhere like I usually do. But I think we're going to go with the color Midwest. And this is just kind of a mid-tone brown because, you know, Emily, Midwest, that's who she is. Kind of the Midwest queen, shall we say. We're going to go ahead and put this on. But like I said, this is one of my favorite palettes. Although I'm resurrecting it here today with you guys, this is not a palette that needs to be resurrected necessarily with me, in that I have continued to use this palette because I just really love the types of looks I get with this palette. I love the amount of looks I can get with this palette, and I love the ease of use with this palette. It really is just no fuss, no muss. Um, and the thing about this palette with Revolution is that the scent of the shadows are just typical makeup, but they really remind me of old Maybelline and CoverGirl eyeshadows, the way that they used to smell in their single forms. And for whatever reason, it really just it makes me nostalgic because it reminds me of my mom when she would do her makeup and she would have her little sponge tip applicator that came, you know, in the CoverGirl eyeshadow, and she would be putting it on, and it just has that. I'm just smelling it on my brush. It just has kind of that very old school makeup scent to it. Where today we have a lot of you know, makeup that has food scents or buttercream or anything but the smell of makeup. So I really like that. And I really like this color Midwest. I think this is probably a hair deeper than my skin tone. So it makes it be kind of like a nice color to just lay down and then kind of put everything else on top of it. So now we are going to go ahead and we're going to use the same brush, which is our Wayne Gloss number 3. It's typically the one that we start off with. And we're going to go into, I'm trying to think if I want to do a brownie or a more pinky. I think I want to keep it slightly more brown. I think we're going to go in with the color Prayer. This is a nice color. Like I said, I've been watching Emily for a long time. And she is just a YouTuber I really resonated with. Because although YouTube, after she stopped being a weather person, which I thought was incredibly cool, like I always thought that that job was just so neat. Um, you know, and she started to expand her family, whatnot, what have you, and kind of YouTube became her main job. She still remained herself. And I know that everybody grows and changes, and you want people to grow and change throughout the years. That's a part of life, and that's positive. But I mean in the sense that she didn't, it didn't appear, and I'll say appear because of course I don't know her personally, but it didn't appear that her values changed. That the things that she valued or presented that she valued when she first came on YouTube, you know, a decade later, still appeared to be the same things, very much so that she valued, and that those things didn't change or fall by the wayside, um, to adopt maybe some other values that people tend to when they start to grow, things start to happen for them, things like that. So again, I think that that continued to make her relatable, and I think a lot of that is that she stayed in the Midwest, that she didn't kind of make the move to LA or New York or something like that. And so I think that those places just have different vibes. Not that anyone is better or worse, but I think that they just have different vibes to them. Really, really like the color, really like the way that we're building it. Again, this palette is just so simple, so easy. It can be one and done, and that is what I love about it. We are now going to go ahead and we're going to go in with our Wing Gloss number 19 brush, just kind of like a small fluffy shader brush, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start stepping into doing the outer corner. And I think for that, I kind of wanted to do Apartment because it's a deep brown, but I think we're going to actually go into Cheer, and we're going to dip into Apartment. So we're going to go into kind of like a little bit of a burgundy maroon, and we're going to go into a brown just to give it a little bit of dimension while we're doing our makeup right here. It gives just a little bit of something else. I've really been loving when I do my outer V to really drag it over onto kind of my lower lash line and that lower part of my eye, instead of just keeping it right in the outer V portion. Now it's hard when you're mixing two colors because I'm no chemist, so you're hoping that you got the same mix, so that way they look the same on each eye. And my mirror is sitting pretty far from me today, and as you guys know, I am pretty much blind as a bat without my glasses on. But for my mirror to be closer to me, it was going to show on camera. I really hate sometimes when I can see the mirror in frame, so I went ahead and I pushed it back, and so I'm hoping that everything I'm saying is actually true and that this look actually looks good, because from what I'm seeing with my poor vision, it's looking good. But I could be a hot mess, and I could go ahead and edit this and be like, oh my gosh, this was freaking horrible. You did a horrible job on this. What were you thinking? We need to scrap this and hustle to start over and do something else. So I'm really liking how this gave us a brown, but a also kind of maroon wine color in the corner too. But neither of them take over too much, and I just kind of like the depth that it gave us. I'm also liking not necessarily taking a deeper color fully through the crease, but kind of just through the corner, and then almost like a little bit of a quarter moon type right here. So very, very nice. We're going to take our JH30, which you guys know is always my blending brush. I'm just going to do a quick little blend skis right here, just to make sure that's where I want it to be. And then I think because we're kind of here, I'm going to do my lower lash line. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to go back in and use that number 19 wing gloss brush and just use my color switch. And I think that we're going to go into the color Dues Paid, which again is just kind of like a mid-tone, almost saddle color. I think we're going to run that right here, kind of widely, but just to give a little bit of color here on the bottom, a little bit of warmth, but not too much, but just a little something. And I think that Emily picked out just beautiful colors for this palette. she really understood, I think, what a person would want as far as having pops of color, having different finishes, but then also having these kind of very stapley colors that were your tried and true day in and day out, versus a palette that was going to be a kind of pow in your face type palette. So I think this is definitely a palette that stands the test of time. I think that they could keep producing this palette for years to come the way that they have been. And I think that it would continue to sell the way that it has been. All right, so now what we're going to do is I think we're going to figure out what we kind of want to do for our total lid color. So there's some beautiful shimmers in here. I really, really love this color called Grateful. It's this gorgeous kind of very spring-like green, spring meadow type green. This is Grateful. And I just really, really love that. I think that that would look nice, but I'm not quite sure if that is really what I want to do with this look here today. I think I want to, there's also Cupcake, which is this beautiful kind of just light iridescent pink. Oh, Top Story is beautiful. It's just this gold, but it's just so, so nice. It feels so good. But I think that we're actually going to go slightly more autumnal. I think that we're going to go into, let's see, let's see, Capricorn. Capricorn's a little bit deep. I think we're going to go into Side Hustle. So Side Hustle is this gorgeous kind of evergreen color. I think that that's what we're going to put on today. Oh, and these feel so, so nice. So nice. And I really like the shimmer they give because they're just shiny enough. I feel like they are, if a satin and a metallic had a baby, that's what these would be. They're definitely, I like to call them approachable. So sometimes shimmers and metallics can be a little much, especially for the average wearer, and they can feel very unapproachable on a day-to-day basis. Like on a, hey, I'm going to the grocery store basis, it can just feel like I don't want to be given that much. I don't want to be doing that much. And it can feel like they're not approachable. These feel very, very approachable. Like I said, they definitely feel like a shimmer and a satin had a baby, and they're giving you what it needs to give you, but they're definitely giving it to you in a way I think that most people would not feel intimidated, whether they are a casual makeup wearer, whether they are an everyday makeup wearer, or whether they're somebody who is super comfortable with makeup, or is somebody who goes outside the box all the time, and is kind of wild to the person who kind of stays a bit more neutrally and kind of conservative in their realm. I think everyone can really appreciate what it's giving you. I really feel like this is a nice kind of Thanksgiving look. I feel like I could wear this for Thanksgiving. And that would be very, very pretty. So I really like where we went there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go back it with our wing gloss number 19. We're not going to add anything to it, but we are just going to blend the matte and the shimmer, just to make sure there's no harsh lines. Make sure we have the shimmer where we want it to be at, the matte where we want it to be at, and I think that is very, very pretty. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take the, I think this is Alamar Cosmetics, it's just a flat brush, and now we're going to go into the color Grateful. And Grateful was that color that I just showed you that I didn't know if I wanted to take it all over the lid, and I didn't, but I definitely do want to put it right here in the front part. I think that will be a nice transition for the lid, and to just give it a little bit of brightness right here to go in with it. And like I said, I think that these shades work very well together. And I think that for Revolution kind of having hit or miss formulas sometimes, I think that this is one of their better hits with palettes. So I really like the way that is looking. It looks very, very, very nice. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take our JH30 again. You guys know we're going to just do a quick blend over the shimmers. Because I do take them slightly into the crease because I have the hooded eye. So I just like to make sure that they are marrying together nicely. Playing together nicely, as I like to say. Then we're going to take the Wing Gloss number 6 brush. It's slightly flatter. And we're going to go in with the color Oh Heavens. And this is what we're going to use for our brow bone highlight. And we did use a bit of a fluffier brush because I do want to have a little bit more of the Oh Heavens. And we're going to go back and we're going to blend it out. So while yes, it's a brow bone highlighter, it actually is kind of like an additional color also for the upper part of the eye. So we're going to put that in our color switch. And now we're just going to go back in and just do a nice little blend. Just to give some light, not just to the brow bone, but just to the upper area altogether. I think that that's nice. Fantasticos. We're going to take our E28 from ColourPop. We're going to go in, and I think that our inner corner highlight is going to be Eve Rose, which is a very, very subdued shimmer. But that's what I'm looking for with this inner corner highlight. I'm not looking for something too poppy. I'm looking for something that's a little bit more soft. Going to bring that down just a little more soft. This is kind of like a light purpley pink, very, very soft purpley pink with a little kind of bit of gold added to it, but it's enough, but it's not doing too much. Now you could keep building and building and building, which we're not going to do. We're going to put it into our color switch. We're just going to kind of blend it out a little bit along the bottom, and then we're going to stop. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to do my liner, my lashes. We're going to come back. We're going to chat about it. We're going to look at the look. We're going to see what we think about it. We're going to see what the final product looks like. So give me 2.2 and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. First things first, let me scoot a little closer. Let me show you guys the look. See how you guys are feeling about it. How do you like it? Thoughts, feelings, opinions. I think by now you guys know that they're palettes in my collection, so I like them in some way, shape, or form. And so typically I like the looks that I get out of them, and I really do like this look. I think this is a beautiful year-round look, but I think this is a gorgeous fall, a gorgeous kind of into Thanksgiving look. I think that it is beautifully colorful, but it is also subdued at the same time. So I really, really like that. So now let's kind of get into the details, the nitty-gritty of what we did. On the lower lash line, what I used was my Patrick Ta liner, and this is in the color Rich Brown. This is an awesome, awesome liner. This is literally just a rich brown color, if you guys can see that. These Patrick Ta liners, they're expensive to me for liners, but they are definitely the business. At first I didn't think they were going to be, but these are the truth. These don't move, these don't shake, these are awesome. You have a little bit of time to buff them out if you want to, but these are just really, really great liners that aren't going to bleed. So if you have a problem with your liners bleeding throughout the day, try these gel liners. They're very, very good. The only problem is he only has them in like a brown, a bronze, and a black, so there's no other kind of colors quite yet. For the lashes, I did my usual combo. I did the KVD Lash Primer Epic Curl. Looks great, but in fact, it is black. I love this lash primer. Absolutely amazing. Use it each and every time. I just think it gives a certain something to the eyelashes. The mascara I used was the Give Them Lala. Now, what I found out was, I love this bullet wand. You guys know, and I love the formula. It's like you have the mascara for 2 weeks. It's not too wet and it's too dry, just perfect. But I found out that I believe that this brand is actually from somebody on the Vanderpump Rules show. That this is her brand. I got this in the BoxyCharm and I Was surprised to find that out. I don't watch Vanderpump Rules, so I don't know which person it is, but I really do like this mascara. So if you guys know who it is, or if you want to know, look into that because the mascara is very good. Now let's get into the rest of the face that we have going on here. So on the upper lash line, if you guys can see, it's actually green. And that is not because I used a gel liner. That is because I used the color Corduroy, and I wanted to have it not be a black, not be a brown, but I wanted to give it a little bit of color. And because we used some green in the front, we used that Grateful, I wanted to kind of just line it with the corduroy color and give it just a nice hunter green. And I think it worked out beautifully. Though when you're using the powder instead of the gel or the liquid liner, I feel like it just gives it a little bit of smokiness that is just so freaking gorgeous. So I really hope it's picking up on camera because I really love it, because a soft look like this sometimes doesn't tend to photograph well. So I'm hoping the photographs do well, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Then right here in the center of the lower lash line, to add a little sparkle, a little draw, what I used was the color Belle Violet. And Belle Violet is just this beautiful purple iridescent color. And I put that right in the kind of center of the bottom lash just to kind of draw you in and kind of lighten and brighten the look up a little bit more and give it just a little something that almost felt like your eyes were sparkling, but they weren't, but it wasn't kind of an intense shimmer. I didn't have any fallout from it, nothing like that. It was just a beautifully gorgeous look. So guys, I clearly love the Emily Edits The Wants palette. I have loved it since the day that it came out. I have continued to love it since 2018, and I will continue to love it until the day the wheels fall off. And when it does, I will repurchase another one because I absolutely love it. And I think for 20 bucks, right now it's on sale for 15. I think you can't beat that. It's just a beautiful palette, and you can see the colors are subdued. So it's not that the colors are bad or not pigmented. You can build them up if you would like to, but they're just going to give you, to me, that everyday colorful look. They're not going to be loud in your face. They really are just somebody who can slink into the room and the air has shifted and changed. But when you look around, nobody's quite sure why it has shifted and changed, because it didn't make its presence loud and bold. It was just very kind of subdued when it came in. That's this palette. But it was beautiful, and it definitely leaves a mark, but it doesn't have to be loud to do so. And I think that that takes a certain something to be able to make a mark but not be loud. And like I said, I'm really loving this look for a good Thanksgiving vibe, because I think that it is giving me the colors that I want. It is giving me the vibe that I want. And I'm overall really just loving the look as a whole. So guys, if you have tried this palette, let me know in the comment section down below. Are you still using it? Do you love it? Do you want to pull it back out? Again, it is still available at Ulta, currently being produced. So if you missed out and you think you might want to get into it for 15 to 20 bucks, I don't think that you're going to be disappointed in what you're going to get from it. Whether you're a new makeup user, you're an experienced makeup user, or you're going to purchase the palette for somebody for the holidays, maybe a teenager who is looking to get into makeup, this would be a great palette to kind of learn how to blend, learn how to put colors together, things like that. This would be a really nice palette, I think, to do that with, where they wouldn't become frustrated with the oversaturation, but they would always get a very beautiful look from the palette. So let's talk in the comment section down below about things. I am so excited. I am still loving this series. I love knowing when Saturday is coming up, because I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to be able to pull out an older palette. I'm going to be able to re-love it. Like I said, this one I didn't have to pull out because I actively use it, but just kind of to re-engage with everybody about the palette is making me really, really look forward to my Saturdays. So I love that you guys are hanging out with me. I love that you're still enjoying it. Again, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I likely have the palette, so I might be able to accommodate. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give me 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up. Not 1, but 2. If you guys have not already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified of all my new videos. If you haven't already, head on over to Instagram. Follow me there at Londyn so you can see what I do when I'm not here. Also, who is she? I am now on TikTok, and I am also now doing Reels. I didn't say I was good at TikTok or Reels, but I am doing them, and they're not just all makeup related. They're me going to the shore. They're me kind of just daily lifing it. So if you guys want to follow me over there, you also can. I'll put that in the information box down below, because for the reels, of course, at Londyn Brielle, because it's on my Instagram. But for TikTok, it's actually official underscore Londyn Brielle, because Londyn Brielle was not available. So we had to go with official underscore and then Londyn Brielle. So I will leave that down below. So come over, follow me, check me out. Let's hang a little more than just here on the YouTubes, right? Because I miss you guys, and there we'll be able to reconnect a little more often. So guys, I love you. I miss you. I always appreciate you spending your time with me. And until next time, guys, I love you. I'll miss you. And I will see you on the flip side. I love you guys. Bye.